How does a man become the leader of one of America's most notorious prison gangs? Today we dive into the life of Byron Mills, a name synonymous with the Aryan Brotherhood. Born on July 7, 1948, Mills came into a world that was far removed from the prison cells and gang hierarchies he would later inhabit. The formative years of his life, like many, were a confluence of circumstances and choices that set him on a path of criminality. Raised in the post-war era, Mills was a product of his environment. His early life was filled with the typical experiences of an average American child. But the seemingly normal veneer of his upbringing belied a darker undercurrent. The seeds of Mills's criminal future were sown early, a testament to the complex interplay of nature and nurture in shaping the course of a life. As Mills grew older, the lure of the underworld became increasingly irresistible. His descent into a life of crime was gradual, a slow slide into lawlessness that would eventually see him trading the streets of his hometown for the confines of a prison cell. His early transgressions, while seemingly insignificant at the time, would serve as stepping stones on his journey to infamy. Before the age of 30, Mills found himself entangled in the criminal justice system, caught in a web of his own making. His introduction to the prison environment would prove transformative, setting the stage for his rise within the ranks of the Aryan Brotherhood. But how does a man go from being a run-of-the-mill criminal to the leader of one of the most feared prison gangs in America? Therein lies the enigma of Byron Mills. To understand this transformation, we must delve into the murky depths of his life, exploring the choices he made and the circumstances that shaped him. As we delve deeper into Mills's life, we'll explore how he eventually ascended to the helm of the Aryan Brotherhood. Barry Mills, known as the Baron, didn't just join the Aryan Brotherhood, he came to define it. Embarking on his journey in the Brotherhood, Mills was more than just a member. He was a force to be reckoned with. As the 70s rolled in, he found himself climbing the ranks of the notorious prison gang. The Brotherhood was not just a gang, it was an organization, a hierarchy, and Mills was not content with being a mere foot soldier. Throughout the 80s, his influence grew. His reputation within the Brotherhood was built on a foundation of fear and respect, a testament to his ruthless ambition. He was not a man to be trifled with. His name carried weight, his orders were absolute, and his punishments were severe. One such incident that etched his name in the annals of the Brotherhood involved a fellow inmate and a gambling debt. In the unforgiving world of prison politics, debts are not taken lightly. When an inmate failed to settle his dues, Mills responded with a brutality that was both shocking and awe-inspiring to his fellow gang members. He beheaded the debtor, a gruesome spectacle that served as a chilling reminder of the price of crossing the Baron. Yet this violence was not mindless. It was strategic. Every act of brutality, every show of force was a stepping stone on his path to power. Mills was not simply surviving in prison, he was thriving, carving out a kingdom within the cold, concrete walls. But for Mills, the Aryan Brotherhood was not just a prison gang, it was an empire, and he was its undisputed ruler. His ambition was not confined by the prison walls. He saw potential, he saw opportunity, and he was determined to seize it. The Baron's reign of terror was just beginning as he sought to expand the Brotherhood's reach beyond the prison walls. Under Mills' leadership, the Aryan Brotherhood began to evolve from a prison gang into an organized crime syndicate. This evolution was more than just a change in name. It represented a shift in operations and influence that would have far-reaching effects. Byron Mills, known as the Baron, was not satisfied with the status quo. He saw potential for expansion, for growth. To achieve this, he knew that the Aryan Brotherhood had to diversify its operations. Mills, therefore, led the Brotherhood into the murky world of narcotics dealing and racketeering. This move was as daring as it was dangerous. The stakes were higher, but so were the rewards. The Brotherhood began to amass wealth and power, its influence seeping beyond the prison walls, but Mills wasn't done. He had a vision of a unified front, a single powerful entity that could stand against any foe. In 1996, he proposed a bold move: the absorption of another prison gang. This was not a merger, but an assimilation. The goal was clear: to increase the Brotherhood's numbers and consolidate its power. However, unity did not come without conflict. In 1997, Mills ordered a race war against a rival gang. The prison system was thrown into chaos. This was not just a battle for control, but a statement of intent. The Aryan Brotherhood was not to be trifled with. The Brotherhood's expansion under Mills was swift and ruthless. Its operations were now wide-ranging, its influence growing. But with this increased visibility came increased scrutiny. The law enforcement agencies were beginning to take notice. They were piecing together the puzzle, connecting the dots. The Aryan Brotherhood was growing in size and power, but the law was closing in. The stage was set for a showdown. Would the Brotherhood continue its rise? Or would the law finally catch up to them? Only time would tell. Despite his power and influence, Mills was not invincible. The law finally caught up with him. In 2006, the seemingly untouchable Byron Mills was indicted along with his accomplice, Tyler Bingham. The charges were as varied as they were severe, painting a picture of a man who had long since abandoned any pretense of humanity. Mills and Bingham were accused of an array of crimes, each more heinous than the last. They had created a world where violence was currency, and their ledger was overflowing. The charges led to a trial that shook the American criminal justice system. The prosecution built an ironclad case, highlighting their countless violent acts, their ruthless command of the Aryan Brotherhood, and their complete disregard for life. The trial was a spectacle, a grim testament to the dark underbelly of American society. In the end, the jury handed down their verdict. Mills and Bingham were found guilty of murder. It was a conviction that echoed through the prison system, a warning to those who believed they could operate outside the law. But the justice system was not finished. They were given life sentences, with no possibility of parole. The once powerful leaders of the Aryan Brotherhood, who had ruled their empire with an iron fist, were now destined to spend the rest of their days behind bars. They had traded their thrones for prison cells, their power for insignificance. Yet, even in captivity, Mills would not see the executioner's blade. He passed away in 2018, a day after his 70th birthday. His death marked the end of an era, the fall of a man who had once commanded the respect and fear of thousands. Mills' reign had ended, but the legacy of his criminal empire would live on. Even in death, Mills's impact on the Aryan Brotherhood and the American criminal underworld remained significant. The Baron, as many came to know him, drew his last breath in the summer of 2018, just a day after celebrating his 70th birthday. It was an end that came not by the violent means that had marked much of his life, but quietly, within the confines of a maximum security prison, far removed from the power and influence he once wielded. His death, however, did not mark the end of his legacy. Quite the contrary. Byron Mills, through his cunning, brutality, and sheer force of will, had imprinted himself so indelibly on the Aryan Brotherhood that his influence continues to ripple through the organization even today. Mills did more than just lead, he transformed the Aryan Brotherhood, turning a disorganized gang into a formidable criminal enterprise. Under his watch, the Brotherhood expanded its operations, delving into narcotics dealing, racketeering, and other illicit activities. He orchestrated power plays, brokered alliances, and even called for race wars, all in an effort to solidify the Brotherhood's standing within the prison system and beyond. But his legacy is not just one of expansion and power consolidation. Mills's reign was marked by a level of violence and brutality that has left an indelible mark on the Brotherhood and the American prison system as a whole. His willingness to resort to extreme measures, including the beheading of an inmate over a gambling debt, set a standard for ruthlessness that continues to shape the Brotherhood's operations and reputation. Yet, as we reflect on Mills's life and legacy, it's crucial to remember that his story is not one to be glorified or emulated. Rather, it serves as a stark reminder of the destructive path that unchecked ambition, violence, and disregard for human life can lead to. Byron Mills, a name that will forever be etched in the annals of America's criminal history.